Ah,
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for logging in to Yoga for Life, a 30-minute practice session led by Apsara Vaidyala, who is a yoga teacher and practitioner, followed by a conversation with her mother, Kalaimamani Uma Murli, who is a Bharatanatyam and a Kuchipudi dancer, and also a student of yoga under her own daughter. This is going to be quite a fun conversation, and we're just going to wait for about 2-3 minutes so a few more people can join in and we can start off. We have a few people who have logged in, so let's not wait further and go ahead. So, thank you all once again for logging in. And we have a lot of people who are also on the Zoom call with us who are going to be doing the session, like practicing uh, the session along with Apsara. And firstly, I'd like to thank Apsara and Uma ma'am for coming on board and doing this with us. With Yoga Day around the corner, I think it's a perfect session to have with a mother and a daughter, and how they have embraced yoga as a way of life. So, a short introduction about Apsara. Apsara Vaidula was first introduced to traditional yoga asana practice around the age of 5 by her mother, who applied these practices to sustain her life as a professional dancer. And she began exploring her yoga practice in depth when she attended her first official class at the age of 22. She is a certified teacher with the World Yoga Organization as well as Yoga Alliance. She learned the Ashtanga practice from Ramesh ji, a lifetime member of the Mysore Yoga Association, as well as from Ravi and Srimati, who are direct disciples of Guru Sri K. Pattabhi. Apsara has taught workshops in India and abroad, and she is currently residing in Chennai, where she teaches at her school, Aham Yogashala. And now, with the lockdown and COVID keeping us indoors, she is continuing her classes online for students in India and abroad, including USA, Canada, and Australia. A very, very warm welcome to our young yoga teacher who's going to lead us into half an hour of refreshing and some really good body conditioning yoga for the next half an hour. Thank you once again, Apsara and Uma ma'am, for joining us today.
Amazing to be here. And thank you everybody who has joined us right now. So we will have a short half-an-hour session, and as always, until and unless you experience the practice for yourself, talking about it is actually useless. So we will get right away and start. You can go to the mat. My mom is going to demonstrate the postures, and I'm just going to lead all of you. You can start sitting down in a comfortable position. Okay. If you're finding it difficult to sit on a floor, you can just take a bolster, sit on a bolster, that works as well. So let's start by just closing the eyes. As much as possible, try to keep your back straight. Rest your feet on the ground. Try to relax your hip area. Keep your stomach loose for right now. Feel the strength in your spine, allowing you to sit like this. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Just take a moment to observe your face. A lot of times we hold tension in the face without even realizing it, especially the mouth, the jaw, eyes, the space between the eyebrows, forehead. So everything is absolutely loose, calm expression on the face. In fact, you can keep a small smile on your face. Now start to observe your breath. Don't have to take deep breaths, nothing like that. Just your natural breath, observe. When you're breathing like this, feel how your stomach is moving. Just start to bring your awareness internally to the breathing. And now we are going to expand the breath. Okay? So your right hand on your chest, left hand on your navel. You can keep your chin gently downward. Deep inhalation from your chest. Feel the expansion there. So feel your right hand going outward and upward. Slow exhalation. Try to pull your stomach inside as you release the air. So feel your left hand going inside and release the air. Let's try that again. Inhale from your chest. Feel the expansion there. Exhale deeply from your stomach. As much as you can, try to pull your lower belly in. Don't have to overthink anything, just a slight activation in that area. Keep going at your own pace. Try to inhale for the count of 5. Exhale also for the count of 5. Trying to find that balance between inhalation and exhalation. Take your time, absolutely no hurry. Let's do a few more rounds. Now you observe when you're consciously breathing like this, feel how your entire upper body is involved in the breath. So it's your entire spine, the sides of your body, your chest, and your abdominals, everything working together as a single unit to help you improve your lung capacity. And even if you can't make it to 5 counts, no problem. Just do as much as comfortable for you. We should never reach a point where we feel it's too intense or too much. We should be comfortable. And if you feel 5 counts you're able to do comfortably, you should make that 8 counts. So it depends really on the individual. So only you will know best. Let's take one more round together. Deep inhale all the way up to the top. Just hold it for a second And then a slow exhale, everything out of the body. Exhale deeply, release the air from the body. So feel the shoulders gently dropping downward. It's natural, you're not making any movement. Inhale from your chest. And exhale slowly. Bring your hands in pranam, center of your chest. Take a deep inhalation. We'll chant Om. Rub your hands together. Feel the warmth between your palms. Take your hands, place it over your eyes. Just hold there for a few seconds. As you open your eyes, look at your hands. Okay. Now we're ready to start. Today we're going to start standing up. So all the way up. We're going to start with some joint movements because we'll slowly open the body and then we'll proceed from there. So from here, we're going to do some shoulder movements. Okay. Inhale, slowly lift your shoulders up. Take it back and down. Just make the movement smooth. You're doing shoulder rotations. So circular rotations here. 2, 3, up, back and down. 4, up, back and down. 5, up, back and down. Let's do it one more time. Up, back. Now hold this position where your shoulders go back. Feel your shoulder blades moving towards each other and feel the expansion in your chest area. Just hold that for a few seconds. You can face them again. 5, deep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's reverse the movement. So now take it up, forward and down. Okay, you can go a little faster. Up, forward and down. 3, nice. 2 and 1. Okay, now just come back to original position. Hold your shoulders with your hands. Okay, we're going to take again circular rotations here. Try to bring your elbows to touch and then open and close. Nice. Open and close. Trying to get your elbows towards each other as much as possible for 3, 2 and 1. Now just reverse the movement. So go together and then open your chest nicely and take down. 4, 3. Remember the breathing we practiced. Try to maintain that breath. 2 and 1. Okay. Now slowly relax your shoulders, hands down. Keep your hands on your hip. We'll do some head movements. Okay. Inhale, lift your head up. Stretch the front side of your neck. Exhale, bring your chin down towards your chest. Now you feel a stretch backside of your neck and upper back. Inhale, head up. Try to go with your breathing. Exhale, bring your chin to chest. Inhale, head up. Exhale, bring your head down. Now come center, keep your head center. Turn and see right side, right shoulder, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center. Okay, let's go side to side. Okay, take your right ear towards right shoulder, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center. Okay, now from here, stretch your hands forward and make a fist with your hand. We're going to do wrist rotation. Rotate 5 times clockwise. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly reverse the direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, slowly relax. Now open your feet about hip distance. Okay, keep your hands on your hip. Inhale, take your right hand up to the ceiling from the side, and then exhale, bend sideways towards the left side. Don't look straight in. Inhale, come back, original position. Exhale, take your hand down. We are doing the same hand, don't switch the hand, okay? Inhale, take your hand up from the side, stretch your spine. Exhale, bend sideways. Keep looking forward, don't strain your neck. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, take your hand down. Now let's do other direction. Inhale, take your hand up, other hand. Exhale, now you bend right side. Inhale, come back center. Exhale, release your hand down. Again. Inhale, stretch your hands, stretch your spine. Exhale, bend sideways. Inhale, take your hand up. Exhale, take your hand down. Okay, now keep your feet together, feet together freely. Now keep your hands on your knees. We're going to flex and straighten the knees, okay? Inhale, flex your knees, meaning bend your knees. Exhale, straighten your knees, head up. Inhale, flex your knees. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, flex. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, flex. Exhale, straighten. One more time. Inhale, flex. Exhale, straighten. Now slowly come up and stand again. Now we are going to do one balancing position. When you are doing any balancing and on one leg, you should fix your gaze. So look at one point in front of you. Lift your right knee and hold your right knee with both your hands. If you need wall support, please take wall support. Try to lift your right knee as high up as you can towards your chest. Okay, hold there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your right leg go. Lift your left knee. Slowly, no hurry. Go at your own pace. Try to take as high up as possible. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your leg down. Nice. Now we're going to do some spinal movements. So inhale, take both your hands up, lock and stretch your spine fully. You can look up at your hands. Now let's just hold this position. Feel your spine fully lengthening and you should breathe deeply 5 breaths. 5, 4. If it's difficult for you to lock your fingers, no problem. Just keep your hands apart. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your hands down. Now from here, you open your feet about hip distance. Okay, so much enough. Little bit more you can open actually. Okay, open about so much. Hands on your hip, backward bending, forward bending, go slowly. Inhale, start to create length in your spine and just arch back, comfortable position. You can slightly bend your knees, no problem. Exhale, come out of this and go forward. So as you send your hips back, go about halfway down. Okay? Where you're holding the hip, right? That is where the movement is coming from. Inhale, come up. Open your chest and arch back. Don't have to go very deep. Just go to comfortable place. Exhale, come out of this position. Send your hips back and go about halfway down. One more time. Inhale, come up and open your chest. Feel opening front of your body. Exhale, come out of this. Send your hips back. Go about halfway. Feel stretch in your hamstring. Stay there for a second. Now slowly come to standing. Okay. Now take your feet one more time together. Inhale. Again, you take your hands up, lock and stretch. Now we're going to do a twist, palms facing upward. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist your torso to the right side. If you're finding it difficult, you can open your feet apart also. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist your body to left side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, free your hands down. Now, look at one point in front of you. As you inhale, raise your arms from front and lift your heels up. Okay, try to balance, lift your heels as high up as you can. Exhale, simultaneously you bring hands down, heels down. Nice. Again, inhale, come up. Feel full stretch in the body. Exhale, you can come down. Now we'll do the same movement, hands forward this time. Okay, join your palms together. Inhale, come up and open your chest, open your shoulders to the side. Come up as much as you can and then exhale. Again, you come down, hands forward. Nice. Inhale, come up, open your chest. Exhale, gently come out of the position. Keep looking at one point for balance. Last time. Inhale, come. And now let's try to hold for a few seconds. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out of the position. Exhale, hands down. Now come Samasthiti, feet together, beginning of the mat. Samasthiti means equal standing posture, meaning we're trying to equalize, even though we are just standing. Try to evenly distribute the weight, right side of the body and left side of the body. Okay, so just close your eyes for a few seconds. Your complete attention on what we are doing right now. Anytime you feel that your mind is going somewhere else, come back to your breathing. Try to stay present. We're going to start Surya Namaskar. Go slowly. You should go with your breathing. Be comfortable. Now inhale, take your arms up. Join your palms. Look at your thumb. Head back. Look at your thumb. Exhale. Send your hips backward and bend forward towards your legs. You can hold wherever on the legs you can reach, or if you can reach the floor, you can touch the floor. Okay? Inhale. Lift your head up and stretch your back nicely. Exhale, slightly you bend your knees. Try to get your stomach closer to your thighs and head down. Bend your knees and shoulder. Yes. Now, take your hands down. Take your right leg back. Keep your knee down if possible. And inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, take your leg back to a plank position. Drop your knees down. Slowly, you lower your chest down. So, you're lowering the full body down. Okay. We are going to do Bhujangasana. Inhale, come up. You can just come up to comfortable position. Don't strain your neck and look up or anything. Just look straight. Exhale, go to Balasana, child's pose. So this is Balasana like this way. Keep your hips resting on your heels. Yes. Stretch your shoulders forward. Few moments, relax. Okay. Now, inhale, come to your hands and knees. This is known as a tabletop position. We are going to do cat and cow stretch. Keep your shoulders over your wrist one line, knees under your hip one line. Correct. Now, inhale, start to arch your back. Feel opening in your front body. Exhale, round your spine. Try to pull your stomach inside as much as you can. Take your chin towards your chest. Do this slowly, no hurry. Inhale, move from your chest, open your spine, lift your head up. Exhale, just reverse the position, round your spine. Lastly, you take your head towards your chest. Okay. Again, inhale, come up. Exhale, round your spine. Go with the breathing here. Try to elongate your breath. Inhale, arch your spine, lift your head up. Exhale, round your spine, take your head down. One more time. Inhale, arch your spine, lift your head. Hold there for a few seconds. Exhale, round your spine, take your head down. Now we are going to hold this position with the spine rounded. Try to round as much as you can, increasing the spaces between the vertebrae. Pull your stomach inside to activate your core muscles. Try not to bend your elbows. 5. Deep breathing. Remember the breath we practiced earlier? Try to maintain. 4. Inhale from chest. Exhale. Try to pull your stomach inside. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to do a posture called Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift your knees up, okay? For each body, there's a different, it depends on your body type, where to keep the legs in accordance with your hands. The taller you are, the more you're going to move your legs away from your hands. Now, if it's difficult to keep the heels down, no problem. Please lift your heels up and pedal out your legs like this. Bend one knee and then the other knee. Keep alternating. So the idea is to move your shoulders away from your hands. So your entire posterior side will get one stretch. Make sure you're spreading your fingers. Don't close your fingers together and don't keep your feet also together. Feet at least hip distance you keep. Now as you inhale, take your right leg forward, place between your hands. If you're not able to keep the knee down, it's okay, no need. Just keep your right leg as forward as you can. Now join your left leg with your right leg. Inhale, lift your head up and stretch your back. Hold wherever on the legs that is comfortable for you. Exhale, take a deeper stretch. Bend your knees and take your head towards your knee. Bend your knees as much as you can if you need to. Inhale, without rounding your spine, you come up and stand. So stretch your spine as you come up. Join your palms, look at your hands. Exhale, Samasthitihi, hands by your side. Okay, let's do it again. Inhale, arms up. Join your palms, look up. Exhale, forward fold towards your legs. Go slowly, no hurry. Inhale, lift your head up, stretch your back. Exhale, you can bend your knees, get your stomach closer to your thighs and head down. Now take your left leg back, keep your knee down and lift your head up. Exhale, take your right leg back, and now let's come to a plank position. If you are able to do this, we can do. Otherwise, you can do the same position with your knees on the floor. Okay? Now let's try to hold plank. Pull your stomach inside, shoulders directly over the wrist. This will give you lots of strength. Okay? Try to hold. 3, 2, 1. On your exhalation, drop your knees to the mat and slowly your full body let it go down to the ground. Bhujangasana, slowly inhale as you come up, open your chest. You don't have to straighten your elbows, you can keep it bent also. Exhale, go to Balasana again. Take few moments of rest in Balasana. It's always nice to just proceed at a slow pace. Allow your body to open comfortably. Stay with your breathing. Breath is the most important part of this practice. Keep checking in with how your breath is. Now come to your hands and knees. Tabletop position. Spread your fingers. Inhale and arch your spine. Open your chest. Lift your head up. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Let's hold downward dog for 5 breaths. If you're finding difficulty in this position, today you can do Balasana, no problem. If you can, you try to stay in this position. 5, 4, try to deepen your breath here. Be steady once you're in the position. Try not to move around so much. 3, 2, 1. Now take your left leg, place between your hands. If you can, you keep your right knee down or not required. Lift your head up. Now join both legs beginning of the mat. Inhale, stretch your back, lift your head up. Exhale, you can bend your knees to take your head little closer to your knee, but it's more about the stomach touching your thighs. Inhale, without rounding your spine, try to come up and stand. Stretch your hands up, look up. Exhale, Samasthitihi. Okay, let's rest for a few seconds. Observe your standing position. Even this is a posture. Your big toes are touching. You pull your kneecaps up. All your leg muscles will be engaged. Since it's a standing posture, we need strong legs. So feel the muscles of your legs engaged. Now try to keep your abdomen activated, your core muscles. Try to just pull your stomach inside, it will be activated. With the breath, you can enhance that. Keep your chest open. At the same time, your shoulders are relaxed, no tension in the shoulder, no tension in your arms and fingers. Keep your face also very relaxed. Take a moment. It's the perfect balance between just standing strong and at the same time being at ease in the position. Okay? All the asanas follow the same logic. It's a combination of both. Feel it in Samasthitihi first. Okay, let's continue. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold towards your legs. Inhale, lift your head up, stretch your back. Exhale, take your head down. You can bend your knees nicely and take your head down. Now you take your right leg back, place your knee down and head up. Take your left leg to plank position. Inhale, hold your plank. Exhale, chaturanga, knees down, chest down on the ground. Inhale, you can try to do Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, which is like this way. Your knees and thighs are lifted and your elbow is straight. If it's difficult, please do Bhujangasana. Exhale, without Balasana, you go straight to downward facing dog now. Okay? If you're still finding it's not comfortable, you can do Balasana and rest for a few seconds. Now hold the position. Listen to your breathing. Your upper body and lower body are connected in this posture and it's connected by the core. So see if you're pulling your stomach inside. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just look forward. Take your right leg, place between your hands, left knee down, open your chest, head up. Join your left leg with your right leg. Inhale, lift your head up and stretch your spine nicely. Exhale, slight bend in your knees and head down. Inhale, stretch your spine, stretch your shoulders, come up and stand. Look up at your hands. Exhale, hands by your side, Samasthitihi. Let's do it again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, lift your head up and stretch your back. Exhale, take your head down. Take your left leg back, place your knee down, lift your head up. Take your right leg to plank. Exhale slowly, you lower the body down to the ground, no hurry. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, up dog, inhale, come up, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Let's just hold for 3 breaths this time. 3, again make sure fingers are spread wide. You need surface area in your hands, otherwise you might feel some discomfort in your wrists. 2, 1, look forward. Take your left leg, place between your hands, keep your right knee down, head up. Join both legs beginning of the mat. Inhale, lift your head up again, stretch your spine. Exhale, you can bend little deeper in the position. Inhale, come up and stand. Join your palms, look at your hands. Exhale, Samasthitihi. Close your eyes, relax for a second. We still have 2 more rounds to go. Surya Namaskar will work on each and every part of the body. That is why it is considered the finest warm-up that you can get. It will improve your circulation because it will improve the heat in the body. Okay, so take your time here. Build a strong foundation with your Surya Namaskar. Okay, Surya Namaskara B. Inhale, half squat and hands up. Utkatasana like this way. If you can, you look up. Otherwise, you can look straight ahead. Okay? Exhale, bend forward towards your legs. Inhale, lift your head up, stretch your back. Exhale, now you directly take your right leg back and left leg back, go to plank position. Okay. Inhale, you can hold your plank for a moment. Exhale, chaturanga, knees down, chest slowly down to the ground. Use the strength in the body to lower the chest. Inhale, upward facing dog, come up, arch your back or do Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now from here, take your right leg, place between your hands. Turn your left leg 45-degree angle with the heel down. Come up and stand slowly, too slowly. Okay? Virabhadrasana, bend your right knee. Inhale, raise your arms up from the side. If possible, you join your palms and look up, or you can also look straight. Now exhale, take your arms back down to the mat. Inhale, come to plank position. Exhale, lower your knees down and chest down. Inhale, arch your spine, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Lift your tailbone and push back. Now same thing on the left side. So take your left leg placed between your hands. Do slowly, no problem, no need to hurry. Inhale, take your arms up. Join your palms, look up at your hands if possible. Exhale, neatly take your hands down. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, lower your knees and your chest to the ground. Inhale, arch your body. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now let's hold downward dog for 5 breaths. Breathe. Definitely a little bit more intense, so there will be more heat in the body. If you're finding this is a little uncomfortable for you, please do Balasana. Otherwise, try to stay here. 3, 2, 1. Now you have the option of jumping forward. So look forward. If you have knee pain, please avoid. Bend your knees and just take a hop forward or walk to your hands. Okay? Inhale, lift your head up and stretch your spine. Exhale, take your head down. Utkatasana, half squat and raise your arms up. Look up, arch your back slightly. Exhale, Samasthiti. Again, you relax. We're just going to do it one last time and we're done. Quickly observe your breath. See how the breath is. Observe your heartbeat. Maybe the heart is beating faster. Maybe the breath is faster. Totally normal. Practice every day and it will get a little bit more regular. Inhale, Utkatasana, half squat, hands up. Exhale, forward bend towards your legs. Inhale, lift your head up and stretch your spine. Exhale, take your left leg back, right leg back, go to plank position. Inhale, hold your plank for a second, don't hurry. Exhale, knees down, chest down. Inhale, arch your spine, up dog or Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your right leg, place between your hands. Left leg, turn 45-degree angle. Make sure your chest is facing your right leg as you come up and stand. Bend your right knee. Inhale, take your arms up. Let's hold the position for 5 breaths. You should also look like a warrior. Okay? Keep your eyes fixed at one point. Breathe. 5, 4, listen to your breathing. 3, steady. 2, 1. Exhale, take your arms down. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, knees down, chest down. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, downward dog. Take your left leg, place between your hands. Come to Virabhadrasana on your left leg. Turn your right foot 45-degree angle. Inhale, chest facing your left leg and take your arms up. If you can, you look at your hand. Your head is back looking at your hand. 1. Otherwise, please look straight ahead for better balance. 2, 3. Try to keep your stomach active. Pull inside. 4. 5. Exhale your arms down. Inhale, come to plank position. Exhale, lower your knees down, chest down, chaturanga go down. Inhale, arch your spine. Exhale, go downward facing dog. Last 5 breaths, let's hold the down dog. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now look forward. You can just jump forward, bend your knees and hop, or walk to your hands. Inhale, stretch your back, head up. Exhale, take your head down. Very nice. Inhale, half squat and raise your arms up. Utkatasana position, be comfortable. Exhale, Samasthiti. Now we are going to go and take some rest on the mat. Okay. So come to the beginning of your mat. Inhale, take your arms up normally. Exhale, forward bend towards your legs. Stretch your right leg back and left leg back. Go straight to downward facing dog. And now drop your knees down. Come to your hands and knees like tabletop position. And lower your full body to the ground. Your full body, let it go down. Cross your hands under your cheek. Turn your head to one side. We'll just do a few more minutes of practice. Take few minutes of rest here. Few seconds of rest, sorry. We're all used to sitting down and working a lot these days. So we'll do one posture which is very good to strengthen the upper back area and the full spine really. So all the backside of the body will be strengthened. The back of the spine is very much also related to the core. It will allow better posture in your body, whether you're standing or sitting. It will give more strength in your body. So even if you're working a lot, it's just good for your back muscles. Now stretch your hands back alongside your body like this way. Shalabhasana, locust position. If possible, you keep your feet together. Okay? When you're coming up, it's okay if it opens slightly. Try not to open too much. Inhale, lift your chest up, legs up, hands up. Everything come up like you're flying. Why are you taking side back? Exhale, go down. Inhale, everything come up again. Exhale as you go down. Just one more time. Inhale, come up. And just hold the position. Listen to your breath. I know it's a little bit intense, even if it's short breaths. Okay? Try to build the endurance in the posture. 3, 2, 1. Slowly you can lower down. Now keep your hands next to your chest, Bhujangasana position. Inhale, slightly arch your spine. Come up where the shoulders can be relaxed away from your ears. Come up some more. Exhale, go to Balasana. You keep your knees together in Balasana and rest your spine. Take your head down. Come up and sit in Vajrasana. Very good posture if you're a dancer, because what it does is it stretches your quadricep muscles, your knees are strengthened. If you can sit in Virasana, but no need. Today sit in Vajrasana. Today is only the first day and everybody has different capacities. So if you can sit like this, you sit. Otherwise, you can sit cross-legged also. Now from here, stretch your legs forward. Face them. We're going to do a twist. Okay? Stretch both your legs. Bend your right knee. Hug your right knee towards your chest like this. Keep your spine straight. Just a comfortable twist we're going to take. Take a little bit more out to the side. Now, if your right knee is bent, stretch your left hand up. Lengthen your spine. On your exhalation, hug your right knee and twist towards your right side. Take your right hand behind and open your chest nicely. So the twist is really not about how far you can see behind you. It's more about opening your chest. Okay, so feel some freedom there for you to breathe. Feel the twist in your hip area, your lower back, upper back, shoulders. Let the body just start to cool down a little bit. As always, breathe deeply. Slowly come back, inhale, center. You can stretch out your leg. Hug your other knee. Sit with your back straight, hug your knee. This is starting position, straighten your back. Now take your right hand up. Inhale, exhale, you can get into the twist. Twists are so good to detox the body, so it's very nice to do it after the practice. Towards the end of your practice, it will help the body cool down. It will help to realign your spine. Now slowly you can come back to the center. Stretch both your legs. Slight bend in your knees. Okay, we are going to bend forward. Paschimottanasana. Inhale, stretch both your hands up. Okay, elongate your spine before you bend forward. Now as you bend forward, you move from your hip and go down. Okay, take comfortable position. Hold your leg. You can even hold your ankle wherever you are able to reach. Keep looking at your toes. Again, the posture is not about getting your head to your knee. It's about finding length in your spine. And if you find length in your spine, first you should try to get stomach to touch your thighs. Then you can think of going deeper. So that is why it's completely fine for you to bend your knees. This is more for a stretch for your back. Okay? But you shouldn't be very comfortable also. A little bit you should feel the stretch. So you should know where to bend, where you can still feel the stretch in your legs. Take one deep inhalation. Exhale. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Lock and stretch. Fully lengthen your spine for a moment. Feel nice elongation over there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your hands to the side. Now bend your knees, come to the beginning of the mat. We're just going to take few moments of rest. Okay? Stretch your hands forward. Let's lie down with some control. Inhale deeply. As you exhale, pull your stomach inside and try to lower down one bone at a time. So your lower back, basically you're using your core muscles to lower down, your middle back, and then finally your upper back. Then fully lie down. Just stretch your hands, stretch your legs and close your eyes. While you're in Shavasana, the posture is called Shavasana. This is also a posture only. It is translated as corpse pose because we're trying to lie down like a dead body. We're trying to be absolutely still over here. While you're lying down and taking few moments of rest, we'll just do some meditation. Start by relaxing your body. Try to hold no tension anywhere. From the toes all the way to the head, everything is loose, everything is free. Feel the areas of your body that are resting on the mat. So that's the backs of your heels, your calf muscles, backs of your thighs, your glutes and hip, your upper back, your arms and backs of your hands, back of your head. Be as comfortable as you can. Again, you start to observe your breath. Don't have to take deep breaths or anything. Just observe your natural breath. So feel how your stomach is moving as you're lying down in Shavasana. As much as possible, let that be your only concentration, your only awareness at the moment. Anytime you feel some restlessness, or if you feel that you're unable to concentrate, no problem. Just observe. Observe the source of wherever that is coming from, whether it's a thought that is coming in your mind. Observe it like a third person without any judgment. And then as freely as that came into your head, also allow it to leave. And come back to your breathing. You can imagine yourself holding the feet of your God. If you believe or if you have a God, whatever or whoever God is to you, imagine yourself holding the feet of your God. Completely surrender. And if some difficulty arises, again just observe without any judgment. There is no right way or wrong way to do this. So if any difficulty comes, let it come, observe it, and again just let it pass. Let it pass by coming back to anything that gives you the sense that you're in the present moment. It could be the sounds that you're hearing right now, or it could be your breathing. It could be some feeling in your body. Let yourself believe that only this moment is real. Now gently start to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can move your head from side to side. Bend your knees. Fully turn towards your right side. Come sit down on the mat. Sit in comfortable position. Keep your back straight. Eyes closed one last time. Hands in pranam. Let's chant Om. Inhale. Rub your hands. Place the warmth of your hands on your eyes. As you open your eyes, see your hands. Thank you so much. Thanks for practicing along with us. I hope you feel a little bit more refreshed after that.
Wow, I mean, I didn't practice, but I saw that and I'm feeling refreshed. I can imagine how wonderful everyone else must be feeling right now.
Practice, you should also practice.
In a sari, that was a little too difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much once again. And I think at this point, we'll move on to the interview that I'm personally very excited for. So before we move ahead, I'd like to thank all of the participants who joined and practiced with so much, sportiveness and spirit with us. Thank you all so much. And I think we can just take a picture with all of you. So I'd like you all to pose with a thumbs up. So then we can just take a picture and make a memory of this moment.
Just us.
And smile. Thank you all so much. It was wonderful meeting all of you and watching everybody break the various physical barriers, as in that our body gives us, and step by step, just understanding your body a little more, giving it a little more flexibility, and just being comfortable with your own self. Thank you all so much. At this point, I'd like to formally introduce Uma ma'am because I think it's very special to have that kind of a bond with your mother. I mean, a mother-daughter relationship where the mother is a daughter student, and also the daughter is in a way the mother student. So we'd really like to explore that equation. And Kalaimamani Uma Murli is a Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi dancer of unprecedented and graceful intensity. She has received innumerable titles and accolades for her scintillating style, often referred to as poetry in movement. Uma ma'am has enthralled audiences with her artistry on many stages in India and abroad. She is acclaimed for her presentation of the Simha Nandini, which is an ancient tradition of Kuchipudi, where the dancer, as she dances, draws the figure of a lion with her feet. Presented with the Lifetime Achievement citation for her contribution to the field of Kuchipudi, she currently trains aspiring dancers in her school, Subhashilam Academy of Fine Arts. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much. And apart from the yoga, as in apart from the dance, I think the way you practiced yoga was just truly inspiring. So I'd like to ask both of you, when and how did this love for yoga begin?
I actually grew up watching my mother practice, and she used it to support her dancer lifestyle always for as long as we can remember. But we never really I never really got into it until I was in my early 20s. I was working for some company, and I was not actually going through a very nice period in my life also. And somehow you find what you need during that time. And so I just happened to go for a yoga class, and that one yoga class changed my life. I went in and I went out feeling like my entire perspective had changed about life, because they put me in a headstand, and what a headstand literally does is change your perspective, because you're going another way. So I walked out of there feeling absolutely amazing, and I just wanted to see where this went. So I decided to just dedicate myself to the practice. But I always had inspirations growing up. I always knew that the practice worked. I always knew that. But to have that own dedication, you can only do it on your own. Nobody can tell you to do it. It has to come from yourself.
Right, right.
I also answer this because as a child I was not a very serious dancer also. Okay, so down the line I put on a lot of weight, and I got into exercising early teens. So that has never left my system basically. And then when through my pregnancies, deliveries, everything. Of course, we have our different, biological changes, metamorphoses that we go through. Okay, but I realized the importance of exercise. Dance is there, but it needs an allied form of, what to say, a grooming to support it. Okay, so I realized it on my everyday, day-to-day life. We all have emotional upheavals, turmoil, tsunamis, if I can call it. But this has kept me what I am. Okay, I mean, what I am today, I've been a dancer for 5 decades.
Wow.
Apart from that, yoga has been a way of life. And what can I say? And also, I realized the flexibility that it can bring to my dance. And so that's how I became a part of yoga, a part of me. I think it's like it's an obsession for me.
Wow. So, Apsara, the next question to you. You were talking about going through a difficult time in your life, right? So, as in the recent times, we've seen so much that has happened around mental health and a lot of emotional difficulties that people go through. So, can you talk about your experience of how yoga brought this kind of mental stability?
Well, everything, if not, should begin internally. I can't do anything externally if internally I am not fit. So until and unless, it's like a garden that you have to look after, that you have to nurture, that you have to tend to. So anything, whether it's being a better person in all aspects, being a more compassionate person, a more forgiving person, and basically a more truthful person, all of that has to begin with yourself. So even though everything is happening in this world and it's a very devastating time that we are in right now, I also think in a way this is a time where we can go within ourselves some more to just explore that in order to deal with the external aspect of what is happening in a lot in a better way. Because like we did in the practice also, the concept of presence is something that I deeply resonate with. And if you're really attentive in every single thing you do, there is really no reason for worry. Because if I'm fully committed to doing this posture right now, my entire concentration is on that. I'm not overthinking. I'm not thinking of the past. I'm not thinking of the future. If I'm washing the dishes and my entire attention is on that one thing, I'm not worried about anything else happening. So if something happens, you face it, you respond appropriately, but you don't stress yourself out about it. You always have to respond appropriately in such situations, and with a calm mind always. So I just think presence is my response to that. Being present in everything.
Ma'am, so you mentioned to us that you faced a lot of physical problems also as a dancer. It put a lot of pressure on your body. So when and how did you turn to yoga as a form of treatment? As in practice was always there, but what about yoga has allowed a therapeutic side to your dance?
Yeah, actually, because of dancing, it's also like abusing our knees. Okay, like when I was initiated dance, it was I mean, I don't, maybe 1973 was my Arangetram, Bharatanatyam Arangetram. So those days, our masters, our gurus never taught us warm-ups, and then cool down. Both are important. Warming up before the practice and cooling down is as important. So we were not aware, they themselves may not have known. Okay, the importance was given only for that aramandi, the posture.
Correct.
So because of all this, over the years, I think our ligaments in the knee gets, I don't know, it gets damaged. So one fine day, maybe I think 5-6 years ago, I had excruciating knee pain. It was intense, and then I got scared, of course, like anybody. So when I'd gone for this consultation, then the doctor had to do a lot of tests and X-rays and MRI and all. Then of course it was an osteoarthritis problem, and he said unless you strengthen the knees, then you can't practice. Leave alone dancing, you can't walk properly. Okay, so that's how it was. And then there were the basic knee strengthening exercises. I used to do yoga, but I never thought about the alignment. Alignment is very important. See how she had instructed me, the way instructed us, the way that is very important. So today I practice it with more awareness, thanks to my daughter. So what was the question again? Am I digressing? Am I doing right?
I just wanted to know how yoga helped you in the form of therapy for your body.
See, like she asked me to sit in this Virasana posture, right?
Right.
I'm not able to do this. It is actually for me. It is not a. It is very simple.
Right.
And I panic because it is something. You can't do a simple posture for me like this. Then, for a year or so, it had to. I had to again do so many corrective postures. And actually I had programs. I not stopped dancing. So I worked around my weaknesses. So no doubt that I had this problem.
Wow. So inspiring, ma'am.
Crazy in the head, and we're all more determined. I don't know. Anyway, this is what again my experience.
So, Apsara, you practice the Ashtanga yoga style, right, of yoga. So, have you also trained in other styles of yoga? And as a teacher, do you give people a combination that works best for them, or do you stick to a singular style of practice?
My personal practice is the Ashtanga tradition, but then when it comes to teaching, it depends on the student. So if my mom was coming to me and she had that knee problem, I would have to give her a practice accordingly for that. And similarly, if somebody, the Ashtanga primary series practice itself is a little bit more advanced. So I would not teach that to everybody, and I would go at a very step-by-step manner. And of course, it depends on the individual. So that's why yoga is so beautiful. It's an art and a science, because you look at the person and you have to give a practice that is suitable for them and which is scientific for their body. So that is like the unique trait of a teacher, to be able to do that. And I use props in my classes. I encourage that. So I do a mix of everything based on what the student requires. Yeah.
So Apsara, you were talking about art and science. So these are two attributes that dance also carries. Dance is also an art, and it is also in a sense a science. So, ma'am, what are the commonalities that you see between yoga and dance?
Would like to answer that? They have the same origin. I mean, Adi Yogi was Lord Shiva, and same for dance. It comes from there, and the 108 Karanas, the asanas are taken from there. That's all classical Indian dance forms are taken from there. So definitely all those commonalities are there. And even if you notice her dance postures, lot of it is the same as what we do in asanas. I think with better alignment,
especially the balancing. When we have a lot of balancing postures in dance.
Correct.
So learning yoga, see again when I'm performing, when you a simple Nataraja posture, okay, but then we have to hold it longer. But today I can hold it better because of the focus that I've been taught. So
Right.
Also, another interesting thing with all Indian art forms is that there is also an element of spirituality involved in her dance, of course in yoga, but I think that is what really draws us towards these practices more than somewhere else, because that, I mean, it's not just about the dance. It's like we're always worshipping,
Yeah.
in God, song,
very divine.
it's very divine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Apsara, you worked with your mom who's had like a lot of physical difficulties also as a dancer. So, what do you think are the most general or most common problems that dancers face? And what would you suggest that as dancers, like certain things that we have to strengthen, or like a core strength, or knee strength, or even spinal, like the back strength for that instance? What do you think are the common problems, and how should these be addressed?
Yeah, to each platform is different, but I think on the whole, they have so much flexibility. Mostly, you see dancers with a lot of flexibility. And what happened to my mom is she got knee pain, and that essentially comes from the fact that she was not using her core while she was in the position. So that translates into pain in the knee and lower back. And if your hip also is tight, some dancers, even though their dancers are not flexible, so their hips are very, very tight. I've seen a lot of dancers like that. And hip is the epicenter of all movement. So no matter what spinal thing is coming, it's coming from this area. Until and unless your hips are open, all other movements will be very difficult. So you have to strengthen the core. The core is not just your abdominals, it's very much the entire spine. And you have to strengthen, you have to open your hips. So I think these two things are key for a healthy dance practice.
Ma'am, and coming to you, you practice two dance forms that have similar origin but are very different in structure. As in, Bharatanatyam requires a certain amount of sustenance and a grounded nature, while Kuchipudi is more agile. You need to be in the air. You need to have that lightness in your body. So, with these two different art forms that you practice, how has yoga sort of prepared your body to face both of them?
So basically, Bharatanatyam is full of geometry. You know, it's not straight lines.
Correct.
And Kuchipudi is more curvaceous.
Curve, yeah, yeah.
So for me, I'm from Kalakshetra style, and it took me a lot of unlearning to learn this. Okay. So basically, that took a long. I mean, it's easier. It's got its advantages and disadvantages. Because the grounding and foundation of Kalakshetra style Bharatanatyam is very learning any other style. Apart from that, yoga is, of course, it's the king or queen of I think all these arts, because that from head to toe it gives you the alignment and the flexibility and the strength to endure all these art forms. I think that's it.
Coming on to a more fun side, so the mother-daughter equation, how does it translate when the daughter becomes the teacher?
I've been so blessed. Very often.
I'm very strict with my mom.
Yeah.
As a student. I'm the most strict only with her. I'm not strict with anybody else. But
Is this a sort of revenge for having gone through that strictness as a child? Is this a sort of revenge that you're taking on her for having gone through that strictness as a child?
no, nothing like that. But she basically, I
also deliver. No, I can do it. That's why she pushes me more, I think.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Also, I feel and it's easy for me to say what I have to her.
Apart from that,
Can you hear
can you
us?
hear
Sorry,
us?
I just went off for a second. You can hear us from
Yeah, yeah. It went off for a few seconds in between, but now we're back. It's fine now.
Apart from that, talking seriously, I think I'm very blessed because a mother dancer teaching the daughter is like it happens. It's not unusual about that. But her being my teacher, I think I'm very blessed.
Wow, so nice.
She's also a yoga teacher.
We're all fully into this.
We're all and International Yoga Day is her birthday, so that is a big coincidence.
Wow.
Yes.
I think there is nothing more that can, validate the, actually, yoga for life is like literally your family. because all of you have sort of accepted this as your way of life. So that's just wonderful. And also, as in, for a very long time, though yoga comes from our own country, for a very long time, we tend to ignore its importance in our life and how it can help us.
Can I tell you something? This is, again, it is not only one day. We all celebrate Mother's Day, and then Mother is not us, but then in the Western.
Generally, yeah.
Likewise, Yoga Day is not one international Yoga Day. It is every day. 365 days of the year, it has to be a part of your life. Consistency is very important in life. It can't be on and off.
It's just about practicing regularly and trying your best. That's all it's about. You don't have to get everything perfect. You don't have to be completely like attentive. It's not going to happen, but it's about just practicing and knowing that you have to put in the work. And yeah, you're right, it was ignored for a very long time. Actually, Westerners took to it a lot more in the recent past, and right now there's a shift actually where we're trying to reclaim it, especially with the new people. They are trying to reclaim it back, and that's why we even started this International Yoga Day, so that people can understand where the origin of this practice comes from. But still now a lot of people in the West don't recognize the fact that it comes from India, which is quite sad. I mean, it's okay, yoga is for everybody, but you can recognize the source.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some people are very aggressive about the fact that it does not come from here.
Right, yeah. So, as mother and daughter, what do you enjoy doing other than yoga and dance and all of that?
We're gonna watch a movie. We're gonna watch a movie and kick back. So it's Friday night, and we love watching movies together.
Wow.
Having conversations about our swing. We have a swing.
So, how is your daily routine? As in, does it start with yoga or dance, or is it a bit of both?
Well, I have a schedule which even even if I say don't do it, I will not listen to you. It's like that. So that's very important. But sometimes it's very stressful anyway. So yoga is every day. I'll talk about me, and then I dance twice a week, and then I teach twice or thrice a week. So every day it is like morning it is yoga, and then during this lockdown we have housework to do, which I'm glad my daughter has moved in with me in this period. So we are very happy and bonding over washing vessels, cooking. Apart from yoga, we are also doing that.
Wow. I think all of us are doing a bit of that now with the lockdown. We don't have help at home otherwise. So,
I mean, there are good days, bad days, but we deal with it.
of course. So, Apsara, have you ventured into dance like your mom has ventured into yoga?
Yeah, one day I tried it. One day I tried, and then we realized this is not happening. Dance for the fun of dancing in my own room and do all of that. I cannot do what she does. Because I didn't start as a child. Most people start when they're children. And even then, I mean, you can start technically at any time, I know that. But somehow I didn't have the interest. I love watching it, but it's not for me to do it as such. But I love to watch her dance.
Thank you.
So speaking of age, I wanted to ask you, what do you think, as in, does it make a difference if a person takes to dance at a later age and not at a young age? What are what's the flip side of that?
Our Devi herself started very late, 29.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, as I was telling you, but as you grow older, like it's not like as if to prove to you that I can do this. It's to, for me, for myself.
Yeah, right.
It's a challenging thing that even today I'm able to do justice to the item I learned. That's what it is. And age is just a number, I guess.
Yeah.
We have to keep ourselves, mentally and physically strong for that.
Thank you so much, both of you. It was so much fun talking to you because, like I said, it's very interesting to see when like the entire family has that a very singular sort of aim or destination that they strive to reach, right? So when you do things together, it becomes a lot more fun. So it was really nice experiencing that equation that you both share. Why, even when it's yoga or just conversing or even watching a movie together. So I really had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you so much.
I would like to, I would like to thank Alap, Akila, and her team, wonderful team, for giving us.
And
this
thank you
opportunity.
everyone for joining us.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
so nice of you to join us. Practice every day.
Happy
Happy weekend to you too. Thank you everybody for staying and watching and having just as much as fun as we all did. I think we'll say goodbye now and keep practicing yoga. It comes from our country, so I think it's our responsibility in a way to do justice to the tradition that has been given to us. So happy International Yoga Day in advance. And it happens to be Music Day on the same day and Father's Day. So let's all celebrate it together in our own ways. Thank you so much and goodbye from Mala.
Everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.